Hey guys, it got a lot hotter since the last time I saw you. Anyway, welcome to video number 4, where we're giving you another clue for your chance to win one of 2 Apple TVs. We want to remind you that you can come hang out with us, or follow us on Facebook or our Twitter account, or join our text message group, because we're going to be giving extra tips and extra clues about how to win this Apple TV at all of those places. You never know when we'll give one out, so make sure you join us. Well, let me recap real quick where we've been. In our first video, as we talked about the turn, we told you who we aren't and what we don't do. And then in our second video, we talked a little bit about how you are just like us. And then our last video, we talked a little bit about what you need. Because we're just alike, you and I, we need the same kinds of things. Well, this time, we're going to talk just for a second about, number 1, where you've come from in the past. We know that several of you would probably show up at ASU and you'd say, I'm not religious at all. So you would think, what in the world would I want to do with the turn? Well, we would tell you that the good news is you don't have to believe what we believe in order to belong. Nobody's going to check your belief card when you show up to hang out with us. Now, we also know a group of you probably, when you think about the past, you've been burned somewhere. Maybe a pastor or some church experience, and it left a bad taste in your mouth. And we want you to know that the good news is this isn't about us. It's really about Jesus. He's our hero, and He's the one that we gather around. We also know that some of you, when you think of ASU, the first thought that comes to mind is not going to hang out with some group of Christians, but it's probably just freedom. Man, finally I get to be who I want to be and do what I want to do. And what we would tell you as you think about that freedom is that the good news is you and I tend to be far too easily pleased. We'll look at parties or who knows what and think that we'll find joy. And what God says is not that you shouldn't go find joy, but the good news is when you go look for it other places, it's too little. He's got way more in store for you and I. And we also know some of you probably come here and you're very religious. You've been in church since the day you were born. You can kill it on the Bible drills. But we've noticed in our own lives and in our own hearts, religion tends to produce pride. It usually works like this. We begin to feel superior because we feel like we have the truth and other people don't. We feel like we're living a certain way and other people aren't living that way. The next thing that tends to happen in our hearts is that then we begin to separate from those kinds of people, the kind that don't believe what we believe and the kinds that don't act the way that we act. And then that leads us right into where we really caricature them. We turn them into kind of one-dimensional people and we lump them all together. We say things like, all those frat guys, they're all the same way. And then the last thing we do is that leads to us just oppressing. We just avoid those kinds of people. And we also know, though, that there's some of you that come here and you'd say, I'm a follower of Jesus, and I'm hoping that there's something more to following Jesus than just to going to church and going to a building for a couple hours a week and maybe some Bible study on a Wednesday night. We're here to tell you there's great news, that life following Jesus is the best possible life. And we're here to equip you as best as we can for that life. We also want to talk just for a second about your future. We know where every one of you are headed. Every one of you is going to be men and women. They call them adults out there in the real world. Statistically, 90% of you are going to also be married. That means you're going to be husbands and wives and fathers and mothers for years, far longer than you'll spend here at ASU. But here's the deal. There's not a class given at ASU that's really going to equip you to be a great man or a great woman, that's going to show you how to be a good, successful husband and a loving wife. There's not a class that's going to teach you how to be a good dad and how to be a great mom. We want to talk about those things together with you. Well, before we move on, let me give you the first clue for this last video. Here's the first part. Let me narrow the field for you. There's a pitch and a cap, but it's not baseball. There's tackle, but it's not football. There's hook, but it's not boxing. Well, here's what we'd love for you to do. We'd love for you to know and join us that we're here for our city and for our campus. We know that in Jonesboro, almost 1 out of 6 adults is a college adult. And we're here not just for our campus, but for our city. and vice versa. If we're going to love our city, it means we have to love our campus. We're also here to equip you to live and to love like Jesus. We think that would make this a far better place. We also do life as family, so we're here to live like family. And we also have unbelievable dreams. We want to reach our whole state. We want to reach not just our state, but through international students in particular, the whole world. We've got crazy dreams, and we think God has great things in store for college adults just like you. But there's a lot of opportunities to join us. We have missional communities. Those are really just small gospel families that are living life together on mission, learning how to live and to love like Jesus in normal, ordinary, everyday life. We also have some great church-based theological training. It's called Porterbrook. And if you're at all interested in maybe going into the ministry or future church planning, or really just engaging your culture, it's a great way to get some excellent training at a really great price and do it in the context of the church. We also have a church planning residency, so if you have any thoughts in the future that maybe you'd be interested in church planning, we'd love to get to know you. We have 3 guys right now that are in our church planning residency that are going to plant in the state of Arkansas. Our desire is to influence the whole state. Well, we've also got lots of other ways for you to get involved. I'd love for you to either Facebook me, Robbie Fowler, or you can shoot me a text at 870-587-6229. Really, we just want you to come do life with us. All right, as always, don't forget there's 3 ways you can keep up with us. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/turngathering. Let me stop there and give you the last part of today's clue. The key to finding the match is finding the right person, not just the right place. You might say this person is a leader among women, if you will. Oh, and 8 to 5 office hours are critical. There will be no extra time. Well, there's 2 other ways you can find us, not just on Facebook. Don't forget Twitter, @TurnGathering, or you can join our text message group. Text The Turn, all one word, to 41411. And don't forget, when the first person finds the first Apple TV, only then will we start releasing clues so that you can find the second Apple TV. So stay tuned. Thanks.